Hello and welcome to Tax Matters. I am Pearl Inaimaka. Last episode, we began a series of interviews with leading lights in the taxation subsector in Nigeria. The very first interview guest was Dr. Mark Abani, an erstwhile member of the board of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, who also for a long time was the senior member of staff of Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs in the UK. As with that interview, and as you would find out in the following ones, the recurring theme is how to institutionalize the tax-paying culture in the Nigerian polity. Our first guest today is Chief David Ajibola Olorinleke, the doyen of taxation in Nigeria. Muyiwa spoke to Chief Olorinleke on the sidelines of the 20th Annual Tax Conference held in May 2018. How do we institutionalize tax-paying culture in Nigeria?
Chief Olorinleke, welcome to Tax Matters. What, in your view, are the critical factors that will make us reach that goal in the short term and long term?
Well, thank you very much. The problem we have had as far as tax payment is concerned in this country is that many of our people are very reluctant to pay tax. The culture of payment of tax has been very, very low compared with other countries. And we have had the opportunity several times to see how best we can improve this culture. You will discover that many other countries are better off in terms of this culture than we are in Nigeria. And the CITN has been set up really to educate taxpayers and preach the gospel of taxation so that taxation is not to be feared by taxpayers. We are supposed to be friendly. Taxation is supposed to be friendly. You should pay it with ease, with joy, and with the intention that you are contributing towards the development of the country. The more people understand the reason for paying tax, the better it is for the country. The more we make taxation easy and make it look friendly so that people can pay with ease, with the understanding that this is my own contribution towards the development of the country. And this is the reason behind this theme. And I hope as we go along, CITN will be party to that, towards that, developing that culture.
You were, like we said in the introduction, you were at the time the executive chairman of the FIRS, and of course you retired into private practice. So you have experienced both sides. What has your experience been in the field when you were collecting from taxpayers and when you now started representing taxpayers who had to pay to the FIRS? What was your experience like?
When I was chairman, many people used to tell me that, why should you come and collect tax from us when our roads are not good, there is no water, and the education is poor, nothing is happening, or nothing is working well. That is the type of thing I used to get. But I used to tell them at that time that my duty is to collect tax. It is not my responsibility to build roads, to provide water. It's another set of people in government that are supposed to do that. But now that I'm outside, I take it for granted that yes, it is true, we collect tax, but the taxpayers really have a right to say, why are we not getting good roads? Why are we not getting water? And that is what I myself am beginning to realize, that I have to say something. In fact, at that time when I was chairman, I just had to say something. I knew they had a point, that yes, the government must show the evidence that we are using this tax for something by way of development. So to encourage people to pay more. So I believe with this development, if the government can do much more, the social contract element of taxation, that is, let us see what the government is using this taxation for. So that will improve the culture. That will enable people to understand that my money is not just going for nothing. I'm contributing my share towards the development of the country. So this is my experience. On the side of how much you have to pay. Like I keep on telling the members of our institute, our duty is to help taxpayers to make the correct disclosure of their return of income and to pay the actual tax that they are supposed to be due to pay. We are not there to help them to cheat. We are there to help them and educate them the type of records they need to keep to be able to ensure that at the end of the day, I'm paying my correct tax. We are supposed to be there, educate people, those who don't understand, even those who don't know how to make a return. We are supposed to be there to teach them.
So ease of payment, making it easy,
Making it easy, and things become easy if you understand it. So education is key in this respect. Taxation, people don't even understand. They don't even know how do they arrive at my income? How do they arrive at the tax I have to pay? These are the duties of consultants, the chief, the CITN people, Chartered Institute of Taxation, is to be there ready to assist taxpayers. Tell them exactly what they need to do, educate them on issues they don't understand, and then help them to pay the tax, but pay the correct tax. You know, that is the idea.
The holy books talk about the rich taking care of the poor.
Yes.
And even in traditional societies, it's pretty much the same. I mean, you look at the downtrodden and you feel a compulsion to help them. Why do we need to ask the poor to pay? Why do we have to pay taxes?
During my time as chairman of FRS, I felt that for anybody to hold the government accountable, and the general public should be able to hold the government accountable, nobody should be left behind. So we introduced this minimum tax. Whatever it is, every little person who is earning any income should be able to see himself or herself as part of the society, and I'm contributing towards the development of the country. And if the government is not doing anything, the rich and the poor should be able to hold the government to ransom.
That is really institutionalizing the culture, the tax-paying culture. No matter how poor, no matter how little you have to pay something.
No matter how little, the richer you are, the more you are supposed to pay. If you are poor, there is a limit to which we cannot go. But as far as everybody is concerned, people should be seen. Everybody should be seen to be contributing. And that is why we introduced the minimum tax culture.
Okay. But if you turn the table around, the high net worth individuals, the rich, don't seem to be paying enough. They are the ones who have the resources to hire the best consultants. They are the ones who understand how to, pardon the use of the word, how to manipulate the system. Yes. How can we get the rich to pay adequately?
Well, that is where even the education comes in as well. The people who are supposed to be rich and are being made to pay tax towards the purse of the government. Nobody wants to pay tax. But the tax authorities are supposed to find ways of making sure that when you make your return, from the return they should be able to decide whether this is a correct and honest return. There are loopholes which the tax authorities are supposed to look into. And also the CITN members, the tax practitioners, should also be able to aid the taxpayer as to what type of return they ought to make, making sure that they disclose as much as full disclosure and honest disclosure. And by the time that if you don't disclose honestly, the repercussions are very, troublesome, and you can go to jail for that. If your income or your disclosure is fraudulent, that takes you to jail. But if you disclose, even if you are not ready to pay, the authorities can allow you to pay by installment in order to make sure. But if you fraudulently disclose or render a return which is considered to be fraudulent, that is a candidate for jail. So I believe that any tax practitioner should be able to advise his or her client that these are the repercussions. If you want me to help you, you better disclose fully to me so that I can let you into the net of the correct payment of your tax. Otherwise, whatever happens to you, if you don't disclose, it is you are on your own.
So you are talking about full, accurate, honest disclosure.
Yeah.
And when I fail to do that, there must be sanctions.
Yeah.
You say the person that fails to disclose
fraudulent,
is
if
a
it
candidate
is
for jail.
discovered, yes, a candidate for jail. If the income you have rendered, or the disclosure you have made is found to be dishonest and deliberately inaccurate, then you are a candidate for jail. If they take you to court for that, well, if they take you to court for not paying, it's a different, attitude, because you can even get out of paying by installment or paying as and when your business is able to take it. But the outstanding is there. You have made a correct declaration. The amount you are supposed to be paid is certified by you, and you agree that this is the amount you have to pay. But for now, I have no money. Then they can arrange payment arrangement for you. But if you disclose dishonestly, then there is no excuse for that. Or, for example, some of these corporations now withhold tax and refuse to remit to the Inland Revenue. That actually is also stealing, because this money you have withheld is not your own. It's government money. You are only given permission to withhold it because the law says you can withhold and pay it over to the government. But some of these companies or individuals sit on this money they have deducted and they refuse to pay it. That type of thing is the worst. With VAT deductions, withholding tax deductions, not paid over to government, it amounts to stealing government money.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, waiting be this.
The deduction now for withholding tax.
Withholding guinea. Look, if you no pay me my correct money today, hey, Munu get made you half for.
But madam, should be your company paying income tax.
Yes, that one na enough load for me to carry. Why you won't come add join am again?
You see, withholding tax now advance payment for income tax. So when you do some kind job, like contract, we go remove small from am when we won't pay you.
And una go contract am up. No. I bet tell me another.
No. We must pay the money to FIRS within 30 days, and they go give us withholding tax credit note to take show say you don't pay part of your income tax in advance.
So?
Now to help make the money where you go pay at the end of the year small.
So this withholding tax something, it be like part payment of no.
Exactly, madam.
I beg you, give me my check.
Remember, come collect your credit note.
Withholding tax now for we own good. FIRS, it pays to pay your tax.
To enthrone tax-paying culture in the populace, the government should show evidence that they are using this tax for something by way of development. That is coming from Chief Olorunleke, who has been on both sides of the divide as tax collector and as tax advisor to taxpayers. From one number one to another number one. As we told you at the beginning, Chief Olorunleke was the first president of the CITN. Our next guest, Mrs. Adegbingbe Balogun, was the first female president of the CITN.
Ms. Balogun, you're welcome to Tax Matters.
Thank you very much.
Institutionalizing tax-paying culture in the Nigerian populace. What are the critical elements, in your view, that will lead us to that goal?
It's a lot to be done. First of all, there should be a lot of enlightenment to the public. That's one. The enlightenment to make the public realize that it is only what they give that the government can use. That's the step. The next step is making government accountable for what they have collected. In fact, that's a critical point. When they're accountable for what they have collected, it will be easier actually to start enlightenment of the taxpayer. That, look, you see, you're getting these roads fixed is because of what you have given to the system. Then we also have a dearth of database. The database in our system is so inadequate. I'm not sure any government authority can capture the correct number of taxpayers that exist in the country. And if you can't, then what is your base of assessing the tax? Then also, apart from enlightenment, I've talked about database, and training of the officials, the tax officials. Yes, there's some training going on, but they're so very easy to settle into a negotiation position because of the lack of technical content. And then also, I believe our consultants, our professional practitioners also still have a lot to do with their own professional development. Those who are still practicing need to keep training and retraining themselves. And before you give an opinion, you must know what you're talking about. So to that extent, those are the areas that I feel we need to address critically. A lot has been done to welfare of the taxing authority. A lot has been done because of, especially most of them are getting a percentage of their collection now. So it's easy for them to provide the environment that is suitable for their officials to work in. But the content, the technical content of the people that are working in those, it needs to be improved on. And drastically too, because it is what they know that they will use to collect. And if you now start to have taxpayers getting up to date by being enlightened, they will start fighting for their rights.
Well, thank you very much. We hope that when we call on you again, you will heed our call.
Every day, my people they for work. Some they do office work. Some get it them own business. So all of them want good road, constant power for better life. Whether now office work, oh yeah, pay your tax. Whether now your own business, oh pay your tax. If you want a better life, oh pay your tax. Now your civic responsibility, pay your tax. Better soup, now money cook oh yes. Nothing goes for nothing, my brother. If you want potable water, security and hospital for make life jolly.
That's right. Good roads, good hospitals, portable water, adequate security all come from taxpayers' money. Play your part in making Nigeria great. Everybody, small scale, big companies, entrepreneurs, do the right thing. Pay your tax. This message is from the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS.
Welcome once again. We're still sampling opinions, and these from those who should know. We are talking to leading lights in the taxation space in Nigeria. And the question is, how do we institutionalize the tax-paying culture in the Nigerian polity?
Dr. Naiju, welcome to Tax Matters.
Thank you so much for the audience.
Institutionalizing tax-paying culture in the Nigerian populace. What steps do we need to take to achieve that goal?
Nigerians must change our mindset. We must change our mindset because if we know that payment of taxes is one of the ingredients that you need for the provision of the what we call the public goods and services. Then if you need light, if you need road, whatever you need to make your contribution towards it. That's what will make you to be a citizen, a very genuine citizen. It's like in a village, if people are contributing money to build a road and you don't contribute there or you don't participate there, then you don't have the moral inclination to say that you are working on the road or you need a better road. So if you want to change, let the crusade for payment of taxation be led by the governors, the president of the nation, the senators. Let them lead by example.
We are going every time we go for election. Let everybody, anybody who wants to come, who want to contest election, who want to vie for election, should be proud to tell the public openly, and people should go and verify. Say that this is the taxes I paid or I am going to pay. Everybody will follow. If a governor is able to lead, create one day and make sure that this is the taxes I paid, this is what I intend to pay, this is how I intend to pay it. Automatically, you don't need the tax authority they don't have lesser job to do. Anybody who doesn't pay tax, you shouldn't have access to any meaningful public goods. That one will help the nation. So my strong recommendation, let everybody be a tax-paying individual, whether a company or an individual. And we must start with our leaders who are ruling the National Assembly, the governors, the local government people. Let them pay their taxes. The culture will change.
When we talk about paying taxes, why do you need to collect taxes from the poor?
Very good. Taxation, it goes like this. It's either you tax on property or income or a pool tax. It's something to make you responsible. That is it. Why both old and lower should pay. But among the tenets of taxation, the canons, which Adam Smith has propounded, is that a proportionate tax burden is preferred to a flat rate burden. What do I mean by that? If somebody, those who are earning fat money, those who are earning greater income, they need to pay more. But even to a driver, to a cleaner, to even a petty, a trader in the market, you have it as a symbol of pride that you are a taxpayer. If you are not a taxpayer, you have no say in governance. You have no say about the school of your children because you need good school. You have no say about the health of your community. So that is the reason. Even Jesus Christ said, "Give unto Caesar what is Caesar, and give to God what is God." In payment of tithe, there is no exception to payment of tithe, whether poor or rich. But you pay your tithe according to your income, and that is why. And if you don't pay Caesar, Caesar was like the government we have today. With what is government going to govern? All the public goods and services we are clamoring for. It has to be driven by money. And it has to be driven by the fund. We must all contribute to it.
So everybody must pay.
Very important. If you don't pay, it means you are a saboteur. But that payment must be proportionate to what you earn. And if you don't, anybody who doesn't work is not fit to eat. If you are a farmer, if your farm is big, the income you are going, the tax you are going will be big. But if you are a peasant farmer, you must pay a peasant tax. Property tax is long overdue in Nigeria, and it's better for us. It's not easy to evade. If we impose property taxes on all, because when people, all corruptions, everything there, you are going to expend it, accumulating properties, accumulating asset. So consumption tax, property tax, they are those things that, and our leaders must be in the forefront. Assuming there is no oil, are we not going to live?
We thank you most sincerely for coming on to the program, sir.
Thank you so much.
Payment of taxes is a badge of honor for every citizen. Assuming there's no oil, won't we live? That big question from quintessential taxman J.K. Naiju wraps up this episode of Tax Matters. Think about it as you prepare to join us again next week for another episode of Tax Matters. Thank you for watching. See you next week.